Hey there, welcome back to our channel, where we bring you all things related to personal finance and investing. Today, we're diving into the world of dividends, those magical payments that can help you earn passive income. But before we jump into the nitty-gritty, let's start with the basics. What exactly is a dividend? Well, dividend is simply a distribution of a company's earnings to its shareholders. It's like a little bonus for being a part owner of that company. When a company makes profits, it can choose to reinvest them into the business or reward its shareholders by paying out dividends. These dividends can be in the form of cash or additional shares of stock. Now let's talk about the dividend yield. This is the dividend per share expressed as a percentage of the company's share price. It's like the interest rate you earn on your investment. For example, if a company's share price is $100 and it pays a $2 dividend per share, the dividend yield would be 2%. This tells you how much return you're getting on your investment through dividends. Now let's talk about the types of dividends. Number 1. Cash dividends. These are the most common type of dividend. They are paid out in the form of cash directly into the shareholder's brokerage account. Companies typically declare a specific amount per share as the dividend, and shareholders receive that amount for each share they own. Number 2. Stock dividends. Instead of cash, companies can issue stock dividends by giving shareholders additional shares in proportion to the number they already own. For example, a 5% stock dividend would give 5 additional shares for every 100 stocks owned. It increases the number of shares but maintains the shareholders' proportion of ownership. Number 3. Property dividends. Instead of cash or stock, dividends can be paid out as assets or property. This may include land, equipment, inventory, or other tangible assets. Property dividends are rare today, but were more common in the past when companies dealt in physical goods and commodities. Number 4. Dividend reinvestment programs. Some companies offer dividend reinvestment programs, also known as DRIPs. With DRIPs, shareholders have the option to reinvest any dividends they receive back into the company's stock. This allows shareholders to acquire more shares of the company over time, often at a discounted price. DRIPs are typically not mandatory, and investors can choose to receive the dividend in cash instead. Number 5. Scrip dividends. These are a less common type of dividend. With scrip dividends, instead of receiving cash or additional shares, shareholders receive the right to receive additional shares in the future. Scrip dividends give shareholders the option to convert their dividend entitlements into additional shares at a later date. Number 6. Liquidating dividends. These dividends are paid out when a company sells a substantial part of its assets. Liquidating dividends distribute earnings from the sale back to shareholders. They're usually larger one-time special dividends. Number 7. Special dividends. These are dividends that are paid outside of a company's regular dividend policy. These dividends are usually one-time payments and are often larger than the regular dividends. Special dividends can be used by companies to distribute excess cash or to reward shareholders during periods of exceptional performance. Now let's get into the timeline of dividend payments. It's important to understand the key dates involved. First, we have the announcement date, where the company's board of directors declares the dividend. Then comes the ex-dividend date, which is the cutoff date for eligibility. If you own the stock before this date, you'll receive the dividend. Then comes the record date, when the company finalizes its list of shareholders eligible for the dividend. And finally, we have the payment date, when the actual dividend is paid out. But wait, how do dividends affect a stock's share price? So when a company announces a dividend, investors get excited. This positive news can cause the stock price to increase. However, on the ex-dividend date, the stock price is adjusted downwards, reflecting the amount of the dividend. So if you buy the stock on or after the ex-dividend date, you won't receive the upcoming dividend. Now let's talk about why companies pay dividends in the first place. Dividends can serve as a signal of a company's financial health and stability. It shows that the company is generating profits and is willing to share them with its shareholders. This can attract more investors and increase demand for the company's stock. But not all companies pay dividends. It's more common among larger established companies in sectors like healthcare, utilities, and banking. These companies tend to have stable earnings and cash flow. On the other hand, startups and high-growth companies often reinvest their profits back into the business to fuel growth and expansion. Some examples of dividend-paying companies are Coca-Cola, Apple, Microsoft, and ExxonMobil. These companies have a long history of paying dividends to their shareholders. Remember, dividends can be a great way to earn passive income and grow your wealth over time. But as with any investment, it's important to do your research and consider your investment goals before diving in. Thanks for joining me today. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel.